All right, we're live. Okay. Hey guys, I'm here with Adam. Adam, would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up? I'm Adam. Um, yeah, I live in South Carolina.
Yep, we know each other in real life.
Yeah,
So that's an interesting thing. Um, okay, wait a moment. I'm gonna copy the link to this video and post it in my Discord. But we are live right now.
right on.
Okay, so um, I'm going to obviously I'm interviewing Adam. At any point, if you guys have any questions, let us know in the chat. So I'm kind of Adam is my first guinea pig when it comes to doing the live interviews again. I've done 2 interviews so far. One with Logan the other day, and one with Arthur that I haven't posted yet. But both of those were recorded. So this is kind of a you're being a little bit of a test subject right now to get back into the live interview sphere. But I think I'm going to extend a live interview offer to people that I know. Either I've talked to numerous times or I know in real life, which I know Adam in real life. How long have we known each other by this time? I feel like I don't know.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up there. Can you say that again?
How long have we known each other? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're still breaking up a little, but I heard the question. I don't know, maybe like 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. I think we
Around,
have known each
around
other
two.
for 2 years.
Yeah, around there. But maybe a little longer, maybe 2.5.
Yeah. Um, so I believe Adam and I met, I think we met on Bumble or Tinder. And we went on some dates. And then I ended up moving back to Georgia. And I feel like, I mean, we've still followed each other on social media, but um, we haven't really seen this is the first time seeing you in like a while. So
Probably, yeah, year and a half, maybe.
yeah. So, but
I mean,
now
like,
that
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
other social media.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, we. So it's kind of an interesting. You guys are getting an interesting interview. In some regards. So I guess to kind of obviously we're not dating or we haven't seen each other in a year and a half, but for those of you that want any questions on anything, just let us know in the comments. So, Adam, tell us a little bit about you and um, just you in general for people that don't know.
I'm 27. I was born and raised here in South Carolina, Blue Ridge, if you know where Blue Ridge is. I went to Clemson University for biochemistry. I graduated 2015 for that. Um, I studied abroad in Scotland, Glasgow for a while. I lived over there for a while. Um, right now, I work at I'm the at a distillery in Greenville, South Carolina, making whiskey and vodka and gin and all sorts of stuff, sanitized lately. I play music, live music, 3 nights a week, whatever you would call it, semi-professionally, whatever, 3 nights a week. Um, Different types of music, bluegrass, country, rock, stuff like that, and lately some like acoustic jazz and swing music. Um, and that's kind of a good synopsis, I'd say, kind of.
Yeah, I'd say so. Um, So, how were you as a child?
How was I like, what age are we talking? Like
I'm talking
1 to
about
10?
from the very beginning until, let's say, high school.
Ooh. When I was really young, I was pretty pretty rambunctious, probably, I'd say. I really wanted to be a cowboy. I would wear my cowboy stuff everywhere. Like I wore my cowboy boots in the pool. Like I really wanted to be a cowboy. Um, and that was like, through we were into elementary school or whatever. I was pretty rambunctious. I played some sports. I played baseball and soccer through middle school, going into high school, which is when I started playing music when I hit high school or when I hit middle school. Um, but I went to a pretty small rural elementary school, so moving like into middle school and then high school and then college, it was like a constant like walk up and having to figure out how to be social towards people. Because I remember going to middle school and you go from having a class of like 20 people to like, there's how many, several hundred in your grade. And I remember I felt like I didn't have any friends, and it was kind of like that every single jump. So that was part of my childhood, like figuring out that like I was going to be really miserable if I didn't.
So, when did you make that transition?
To where like trying to like talk to new people.
Yeah.
Because talking to people when you're in elementary school is pretty easy because you go to elementary school when you're 4 or 5 years old when you don't care about anything. So you'll say anything to anybody, and then you grow up, the next 4 or 5 years with those people, so you grow very comfortable around them, and that's essentially 10, 11 years of your life where you don't know how to socialize with new people. At least I didn't, because my family didn't travel a whole lot, and so I guess I had to make that transition around 7th grade. 6th grade was pretty miserable. I didn't like it because I was trying to figure out, how to socialize and whatnot. But I remember 7th grade, I was kind of enjoying myself again, figuring things out.
I feel like in general, middle school is really hard for a lot of people, though. So,
Yeah. Middle school, some high school too, like for different people for sure.
when do you think you became like kind of social with people?
I think there were different steps of that. It's a spectrum. I started kind of learning, and I think there's humps to it too. Like there's times in my life when I've become less social and then become more social. Like when I moved to Scotland, that was a situation where literally I didn't know anybody. You're surrounded, the closest person is 5,000 miles away. And that's when I was 20 years old. And that was another point in time where I was like, damn, I need to learn how to like not care about what people think. You just go up and talk to them. And if they don't like you, they don't like you, and I'm not talking about trying to date romantic stuff. I'm just anybody, guys, girls, you just got to go up and I figured out if you're going to make friends, you just got to go up and talk to people.
Yeah.
But there was different stages when I felt like I was more social, when like I had to be.
Yeah. So Jonathan, Jonathan in the chat is asking, he's from Scotland. He wants to know where and when where and when in Glasgow, and what did you do? So you went in college at the age of 20.
Yes.
Would
So
you like to kind of talk about it more?
sure. I went from January of 2014 until July of 2014. I was there about 6 months. I lived in Glasgow. I went to the University of Strathclyde while I was there, but truth be told, I probably went to class about 25% of the time. Just never went to class. And one of the reasons I went to class because they ran out of on-campus housing, and they had to put us literally across the city in the West End, which if he's from Glasgow, he knows the West End's actually pretty nice. So it was nice, but school was a 45-minute walk. So that's one of the reasons I didn't go to class a lot. But that was, I would say studying abroad was definitely overall the best life decision I've ever made, because it just, before that, I was pretty much stuck in Carolina or the East Coast. I'd never been out west or into another country, so it really kind of opens your eyes to, and I never lived in a city either, so it really opens your eyes to different cultures and whatnot. And Scotland in particular was really cool because Scottish people, I got to travel in Europe a little bit, France, Spain, because it's really cheap, Ireland. It turns out to me, Scottish people were the nicest people I've ever met. They were people that like didn't care where you were from. They were down to be nice to you, where some other countries I didn't get that vibe.
I feel like this is, so the way that the live is, it's a little bit lagged for the people that are watching it, in the sense that they're seeing it at like, I don't know, like a minute later. So I feel like Jonathan is going to love you, the Scottish guy that's watching this right now. So yeah, I feel like you're gonna get a lot of praise from him. But that is really interesting though. I've kind of discussed this with other people as well, that like there's something about getting out, especially if you like grew up in the US, because like the US, it's so easy to just stay in the US your whole life and not go anywhere.
Yeah, it is. It really
So
is.
what made you want to go to Scotland?
So real quick, because I'm an idiot and didn't do this before the interview, I'm gonna hook up my charger.
Okay.
Let's see here. Come on now. All right, there we go. That worked. That did work. Now it's not gonna want to sit right. Oh, please sit. Okay. So the question was, why did I want to go to Scotland?
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak any language except English, so that really limited me. You know, so that was a big limiting factor. I was actually narrowed it down between Scotland and South Africa, because I thought the South Africa was a very interesting, it seemed like a very interesting culture. And I heard there was some really cool music down there. Scotland, that was actually between Glasgow and the city of Aberdeen. I ended up choosing Glasgow, which I'm really glad I did, because Glasgow is such a non-touristy city. It felt a little bit more genuine. But yeah, I chose Glasgow because A, it was English speaking. B, it's my whole life I just thought the Celtic landscape, the Celtic culture was really interesting, and I wanted to experience it firsthand.
Do you have any Scottish heritage?
Yeah, I think most of mine's Irish, but we do have
Oh, I
some.
had no idea.
No, most people think I'm Italian. Yeah, Spanish heritage.
Yeah.
No.
That's interesting. I have some Scottish. I'm like mostly Scottish and Irish as well. But I'm actually more Scottish than I am Irish. So, that's cool though.
Yeah, there's a lot of Scottish. It was actually interesting. One of the classes I took over there was talking about Scottish influence in America, and how the immigrants have affected America to what extent. So yeah, Scotland has a lot of roots in America.
Yeah. When you came back to the US, like after being abroad for 6 months, what did that feel like? Did you experience like a reverse culture shock?
Yeah, there was a lot of things I had to get used to. The obvious one was the massive time change. Which also I couldn't legally drink when I came back. so I had to get used to not being able to legally drink. So different because I was living in a pretty big city over there, walking everywhere, which I'd never done before in my life. I got my license at 15. I've been driving since I was 15 years old, and I didn't drive for 6 months. It was weird. I enjoyed being able to drive again when I got back home. That was my favorite part about getting back home, was driving again. Students when I was in Scotland, and it was less relaxed. When I came back here, it was more real life.
Are you still friends with some people that you like made friends with in Scotland?
Yeah, no doubt. I've been back to Scotland twice since I lived over there to play music. My music friends over there, some of them have visited me here. So I definitely.
Adam, they're saying on your end it's kind of glitchy. Like it's kind of lagging.
Okay.
I don't know if you're like,
right.
if it's a Wi-Fi issue or what it is.
It could be. I can try to fix that if you want to cut it for a minute, or it's up to you if you want to just keep rolling.
I mean, we could just keep rolling. I feel like cutting it would, I don't know.
Totally up to you.
So are you hooked up to Wi-Fi, or is it just, what are you hooked up to right now?
I am hooked up to my Wi-Fi, but it kind of, I'm in the opposite side of the house of it, and I'm trying to look at, like, because it looks like it's like buffering.
Okay. So I think that might be like the sound issue, because I think it is probably on your end, because I'm also seeing like the glitchiness that they're speaking about. Would going in a different area of the house work, or by turning off the Wi-Fi would it work?
Yeah, sometimes the Wi-Fi, when I reset it, it seems like it's faster. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what you could do, you can always rejoin.
Like turning it
go
off,
ahead.
Just and going off of data.
I mean, that's up to you. What you could do, I don't mind entertaining people for a little while. You can reconnect to Wi-Fi and just like join the link back to the StreamYard if you want.
Okay. Why don't you give me 2 minutes, and I'll see if I can get. Maybe I can move the router.
Okay. Yeah. Just go ahead and do that, and just join the link back to the StreamYard.
Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. All right, guys, we're here alone again. Adam's going to be joining us in just a moment. Oh my gosh. It's quick, everyone act normal. I love that. So this is, Adam is doing a bit of a, what's it called? We are doing a little bit of, wow, I can't speak. We are doing a test right now, and I'm seeing like whether we should do like live interviews or recorded interviews. Probably I'm going to do recorded interviews with like strangers, just because when I used to do the interviews back in the day, not everybody, but there was a small amount of people that when I first met them and did like a live interview, it was really uncomfortable for me. And it's something that I don't want to subject myself or the audience to once it starts picking up again. Basically, like when I used to do live interviews with strangers, it was just really like kind of stressful. So I'm going to do like a mixture of both live interviews and recorded interviews. For those of you that weren't joining us in the very beginning, I've recorded 2 interviews so far, Logan and Arthur, which I haven't uploaded Arthur's yet. Well, I guess it is uploaded, but I haven't made it public yet. And then Adam, which by the way, you guys should be nice. So I know Adam in real life. Here's Adam. Okay. Back to Adam. Hopefully it's going well with his audio. Okay, are you back?
I am back. See if that's better.
I've noticed some people think you look like you're homeless.
Really?
I don't think you look homeless.
It's okay. I get that.
He's not homeless, guys. For those of you that weren't in there in the beginning, he's in a band. He also lives in South Carolina. We know each other in real life. Any other explanations?
To the homelessness?
Yes.
You know, I haven't got a haircut in a while. I don't really shave every day, clearly. Probably could choose a nicer shirt. That's all I got.
I feel like you, okay, apart from like the beard and the hair, I don't think you look homeless.
You know, I agree with you. I think people just hate on the beard and hair, but it's okay.
Well, also your hair is like wavy curly, but it's not like I don't know. There's not mats in your hair or something like that.
I hope not. I mean,
no, I think your hair looks nice. You guys need to stop hating on Adam for his looks. Oh my gosh.
Hey, there's worse things than being homeless.
Someone just said that they want to live in Adam's beard.
Depends who it is, really. I don't know about that.
Okay. So we were kind of discussing, well, you were discussing some of the, like, you were talking about kind of visiting Scotland and like having friends in Scotland, and you were performing in Scotland. I think some of it kind of broke up for people. So if you want to just kind of re-explain that, or just like kind of
my time in Scotland.
Well, I think it was really when you went back to Scotland.
Oh, yeah. Oh, bummer. Yeah. Yeah, I went back to Scotland twice since I graduated. Or twice since I lived there, to play music and visit friends. Like, we played Eden Fest. If you're from Scotland and you know festivals, we played Eden Fest, the last one they had before COVID. So yeah, I keep in contact with a decent amount of people over there.
Besides Scotland, what was your favorite place you've ever traveled to?
That's kind of to Ireland, honestly. Ireland was really pretty. I still think the people were nicer in Scotland, but as far as just scenery and kind of the places I was able to go in Ireland, you know, I went to Galway and went to the Giant's Causeway, and the Aran Isles were really, really cool. I like history and stuff like that, so Ireland was super cool. But I mean, like, it depends on what you're looking for, because I got to go to like I went to Nice, southern France, and like for beaches and, you know, kind of that Mediterranean feel, that was really pretty. So it just kind of depends the mood you're in.
Yeah. Well, I also think that it has to do with like what you enjoy in life and stuff, because I went to Nice, and I I thought it was pretty, but it's definitely not one of my favorite places. I actually felt like the people in Nice were not very nice. If
They
that
were
makes
not nice.
Really? You had
No,
that experience
I
too?
did have that experience. They did not.
Okay.
They
And
were.
I went to Paris by myself and people were nice in Paris. Like the Parisians were so much nicer than the people in Nice. Like I thought like the people in Nice were going to be nice, but they were just kind of mean.
They were me.
Like
I didn't go to Paris, so I can't talk on that. But you're right about Nice.
so, which is interesting. But what do you think, like apart from kind of expanding your horizons and meeting new people, what do you think traveling, like going to a different country kind of instilled in you?
Well, it shows you different cultures. It's very, very easy to get stuck in your own world and your own head and what life should be, and kind of opens your eyes to just other points of view, and kind of, to me, it made me more accepting of other things, um, which is not always easy to do. So that was the biggest thing for me. It just shows you different shades of gray. Like you see stuff on TV all the time, but when you see it in person, it's kind of different.
Yeah. Um,
And also just being like solo, like you don't have a umbrella of safety at home. You got an umbrella of safety, whether that's your family, your friends, or whatever. But when you kind of go to a new country, nobody knows you. Maybe it's some cash in your pocket or whatever. Maybe you're homeless. Um, you know, you don't have a safety net, and I think that's an exciting feeling not to have a safety net. But it's definitely different.
I mean, that's true. If I feel like you can, I mean, just kind of getting on the homeless stick or stick, you could really be like a street performer. I feel like you can make a lot of money from that.
Yeah, in Europe, street performance, at least from the places I've been here in America, street performing's a little bit bigger over there. We busked in Glasgow. Just about me and my music friends over there busked in Glasgow just about every week, and you make some pretty decent money.
So I think they're onto something in the comments.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
What the?
Just joking. Okay. Okay. And so I guess kind of going back to your college experience, how would you describe your experience at Clemson and like what made you choose your major?
My experience at Clemson, it was interesting because Clemson's a really great school. They got a very good program for the science and agriculture and stuff like that. So education wise, it was a good school because I felt like it challenged me. I chose biochemistry. I wish I had a better reason, but I kind of just chose it to challenge myself, because I would have loved to major in something like history or music or whatever, because I really enjoy history and that, but I didn't feel like the degree was worth the debt that I was going to go into. And so, yeah, I kind of just and I enjoy chemistry. So I just kind of wanted something that would be pretty challenging. And it was, it was challenging, and but it was the hardest part about college to me was not the education. To me, again, it was the social part, because I think there was two other people from my high school that went to Clemson. So I didn't know anybody, so that was another kind of hurdle I had to jump over.
So how did you do that?
Well, they kind of throw you into it. At least I'm sure they do it at least big universities with a lot of students. Your freshman year, you got to live on campus, you got to live in a dorm, and you got to have a dorm mate, whatever. So it was one of them things where you just kind of sink or float. You were kind of forced to. And man, I had this room. My first roommate was a weirdo. He was weird, and he was an out of towner. He was from New Jersey. He's probably watching right now. He's probably, it's gonna be, I'm probably the guy saying I'm homeless. It's fine. But he was weirdo. I mean, I could tell you stories about the shit that he did. It was.
I want to hear some stories. I bet the viewers want to hear stories too.
I remember one. So he's from New Jersey, and I just remember one particularly weird thing that he would do. He always I don't know how he was able to have class always so late in the day. I always had to get up at like 8 a.m. to go to class. He was a psychology major. He was from New Jersey, and he would always wake up at like noon to go to class. He's one of the most low energy people I've ever met. But I had to wake up at like 8 a.m. So you're in this tiny little dorm together. There's no walls to hide yourself. And I would be getting ready in the morning, like, putting my clothes on and shit. And this dude, he would sleep like on his face. I don't know how he breathes. I don't know how that works. But he would sleep like with his face like in the mattress, which was weird, but whatever. But as I'd be getting ready in the morning, he would be asleep with his face in the mattress, and so you could just see like one eye, and like his one eye would like slowly open and kind of look at me, and then it would kind of shut, and then like a few seconds later it'd do the same thing and be like, what what is he staring at? It was really weird. I didn't like it.
Was he watching you change?
I don't know what I didn't like it, I can tell you that. It was weird. I wasn't a fan. Like, there was a few times when I stopped and I was like, dude, what is up? And he didn't answer. Like, I don't know if he was basically asleep, but with his eye open. I don't know. That was definitely one of the weird things that he did.
What's another thing that he did?
He really liked to be in the rain. I guess that's not actually this one's better than the rain thing. You would walk somewhere together, because when we first lived there, you would go to, your dorm mate, you'd go to the dining hall or whatever together, especially me, because you didn't know nobody else. Typically, if you walking somewhere with somebody, you're going to walk side by side with them. He liked to walk about 6 feet behind you. And it didn't matter if I slowed down or not. I swear to God, this guy would just like chill out like 6 feet behind me. And I don't know why. It was odd.
So he would walk 6 feet behind you whenever you guys would walk together?
Yeah. It was
like, what would he do if you kind of slowed down?
I did that sometimes. And I swear I'm pretty sure he slowed down even more.
Maybe he just wanted to see your butt.
Maybe. I mean, there seems to be a pattern.
Yeah, I mean, he was watching you change, and he was standing 6 feet behind you. Maybe you had a little crush your freshman year.
Maybe this is the breakthrough I needed.
What was the rain one?
Oh, he just liked to be in the rain, like I mean, I guess that one's not that weird, but like, I mean, I love the rain, but I don't want to be in the rain. But he liked to be like in the rain.
So he would intentionally go out in the rain?
Yeah, he would like take rain walks. like, oh, it's raining, let me go for a walk.
Interesting.
Which, that one's not that weird. I'll let him slide on that one, I guess. I wouldn't do that. I enjoy the rain, but I don't want to walk in it. But yeah.
So, okay. During your freshman year, after you kind of got away from your roommate, and once I know what you're talking about, because I had the same kind of thing where it's like when you're a freshman, especially like at an American university, which not everybody here is an American.
Yep.
It's kind of, I don't know. You kind of have to kind of do that thing where you're like going to the food hall with your roommate, or just like people that you met in class, because you don't know anybody, or you know very few people. When do you feel like you started making actual friends in college?
It was my freshman year. There was actually a dorm 2 doors down from me that I ended up becoming really good friends with. They were a couple guys that were from a high school that was near me. And I ended up hanging out in their dorm more than I hung out in my dorm. We'd watch movies and I never had video games growing up, so I'd play video games with them and get my ass kicked and, all that. But I made pretty good friends with them my freshman year.
When did you, do you feel like after freshman year you became like friends with more people, or do you think you kind of stopped making friends after your freshman year?
I kind of leveled off until about when I studied abroad my junior year and then came back my senior year was definitely my most social year, but that's kind of in part because I was able to legally drink at that point and like go out to bars. So I'm sure that made a difference, no doubt.
Yeah. I feel like in general, the people that you meet your freshman year of college are not going to be like your friends.
I'm sure it depends on the person, you know. I still keep in contact with some of those guys. We don't hang out on a regular basis, but we try to stay in contact the best you can. I'm sure that's dependent on each person, but maybe there is a pattern where freshmen friends don't really.
I mean, I definitely think you can, but I just have noticed that like between people. What what made you get into like what you're doing now, and like what got you into music and all of that?
The music thing, I started playing music when I was in middle school. But I played dobro. For those of you that know what a dobro is, it's very popular in like bluegrass music. And then like you can see it in like blues and in like acoustic gypsy jazz every now and again, although it's a little less common. But I didn't get into playing dobro until I was 20, right before I went to Scotland. Um, and I got into that because my neighbor growing up played, and when I was 20, I was just hanging out with him, and he asked me if I wanted to buy one, and I always loved the sound, and that's why I bought one. And then I just loved playing it. It's a way to relax and just kind of like a way to I guess you could say express yourself, but like kind of release whatever your emotions or whatever. So it was a way to some sort of out. But yeah, I really enjoy that. The music thing. What was the second half of your question?
I guess, I mean, this kind of goes into it. Like, when you, like, what got you into performing and doing live music?
Right. Well, I mean, I really just enjoy the music itself. I've always told people I actually enjoy recording in the studio more than I enjoy playing live. So I don't really care that much about like the people watching me. It doesn't bother me, but it also doesn't really make me I mean, it's enjoyable, but it's not like something my life depends on. Like I enjoy being in the studio and having an end product that you can let people listen to more than the live part of it, where people are watching you on stage, but they're both enjoyable. It's really, yeah, for me just about like the end product of having some piece of art that maybe somebody else will enjoy. Because the whole point of it is to take something in you and make somebody else feel it. That's the goal anyway. So
Um, what was it like to perform for the first time?
I was a little nervous, but really after the first song or two, you don't really notice. For me, I didn't. After a song or two, you just kind of settle in, and it's not a big deal. I didn't think, um, and that can vary a little bit based on the venue that you're playing. If you're playing a 500-person theater, where it's packed out and people are kind of critiquing you a little bit more, you might get a little bit more nervous than if you're just playing on your porch in front of a few people. But generally speaking, I think after the first couple jitters get out, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be a big deal, like, because if you are nervous and you overthink things, you're not going to sound good. You're not going to sound like you want to. So to me, you kind of almost have to have a I don't care attitude, so that you can just be relaxed and be you and do what you've been practicing to do. And what, I think if you go in nervous that, oh, are they going to like me? Am I going to mess up? You're kind of setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, I mean, I've never performed like music live, but I can only imagine that, like, I don't know. I think if you get in your head about it, it's not like a good thing. Just like anything, any kind of performance. What's the weirdest encounter you've ever had, like performing?
Ooh, that's a good question. God, a lot of weird things. I mean, like enormous amounts of drunk people, like just people falling onto stage, like knocking over mic stands. And you're just like, man. Let's see, weirdest things, weird requests. We had a couple weeks ago. I was playing in Asheville, and we had a couple ask us if we would play a certain song for him to propose to. He wanted to propose in the bar in front of everybody, and he wanted us to play it. And it was a really weird choice. He wanted us to play Johnny Cash.
Oh my gosh.
Why you would propose to that? Which we were a bluegrass band. Of course, we didn't play that. I made a compromise. That was kind of an odd one. I'm trying to think the weirdest thing. Yeah, just people trying to like give you all sorts of drugs. It's like that's how they're like tipping you. They're like, hey man, you want this sort of drug or whatever, and they try to like. You would think they'd be more subtle about it, but some people just don't care. They'll just walk up and like, hey, give me your hand, man, and just like drop a bunch of drugs in your hand, and you're just like, okay. Don't have anywhere to put it, and you don't even really want it because you don't know where it came from.
That's true.
So, yeah, I mean, I wish I should keep a journal of some of the weirder things that have happened to me. Oh yeah, we had this was a couple months ago. I was performing with a friend of mine in a band, and this really intoxicated young lady decided she was going to jump up on stage and dance with the band, which is whatever, fine, except she was really grinding hard on our singer, and he has a girlfriend, and his girlfriend was there, and she wasn't happy about it, and his girlfriend ended up dragging her by her hair off stage. I was like, oof. So, I mean, yeah, you get a lot of weird ones.
Oh my gosh.
It was odd.
That's crazy. So, like, what happened after she was dragged off stage?
She wanted to go. So the crowd loved it. Like everybody cheered. They thought it was awesome that James's girlfriend drug this girl off stage. She wanted to go fight, not James's girlfriend. The girl that was on stage wanted to go fight her, and her either mom or grandma or whatever that was there, who was also a little raunchy, was held her back, and they ended up getting out of there.
Oh my gosh.
They were a little embarrassed.
Have you ever had anybody hit on you while you're performing?
Yeah, I mean, I've had like girls write their number on my arm. Trying to think of like, I mean, it's mostly I've never had panties thrown at me. Like that's the one everybody thinks
That
about.
would be actually so weird.
I've never had that happen.
I've seen Adam perform, and I mean, you guys are really talented, but also it just doesn't seem like the vibe to throw your panties at that kind of concert.
Oh, I mean, no, not had that one happen. Not in bluegrass music, didn't really happen much.
Yeah, that would be like so out of like the norm. I feel like it would just be like really, it wouldn't fit for what it is.
No, I mean, my roommate that I play with, James, his is more like a pop country type deal. So some of them kind of get like that was the girl that got on stage and was like being raunchy. Those get a little bit more like raunchy, but still no panty throwing. Not yet. No.
Well, I mean, is this an invitation for any of the viewers to do that?
Look, make sure they're not gross, like gross panties, like semi-clean.
Well, also, I think the majority of the people that are watching right now are men, so.
Word. Well, hey, throw some box. If it's a
I feel like your first roommate would probably do that to you.
Man, he'd rather. Yeah, maybe he would. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. I've said enough bad about him.
Okay, speaking of kind of weird experiences, what is the weirdest date you've ever been on?
Weirdest date I've ever been on. Ooh. I don't. Weirdest. I had one girl who we went out and everything was relatively normal, and then the next day she texted me and asked for my address, which I probably should have been more weirded out about, but I wasn't. I just sent it to her, and I thought she was going to mail me something, and I was like, I sent it to her. I was like, why do you need to know my address? And then she was like, no reason, but now I know where you live. That was a weird one, but I guess that wasn't the date. That was just the experience after the date.
That is very weird.
It was a weird thing to say, no doubt. Let's see, actual weird experiences. Oh, well, I don't know if I want to say this. People are going to hate me for saying this. But
what?
When you go out, I've been on the dating apps. All right, when you go out with somebody and I'd like to make this perfectly clear. They look very different than the pictures on the app. Not like a little bit, but like very different. And
Like, they catfished you?
It wasn't quite a catfish, but the pictures were like 10 years out of date.
How?
It was that. I was there about 10 minutes, and I was just like, man, I got to get out of here right now. This is awkward as hell.
That's weird.
It was super awkward. I mean, I hate to and I know it sounds awful, but if you're purposefully false advertising yourself, I don't know what you expect from people. Like, I don't know how you expect people are going to react when you because like it or not, people date. Obviously, you date for a long time based on personality, but to act like it's not somewhat about looks, it's just not true.
Yeah, by the way, everyone who didn't hear, the way Adam and I met was on Tinder. So we never did what usual people do on Tinder. It was very PG stuff, very PG stuff. But yeah, like we actually did meet on Tinder. That was when I had short hair. Like, look how long my hair is now.
When you had short hair,
so crazy.
Yeah, my hair was probably longer than yours then.
Yeah, it was. It was longer than mine. Yeah, my hair was up to here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was like little after I cut my hair. But
yeah, and that's also not what I'm referring to, by the way. I'm not
I know it isn't. Yeah. Which, yeah, you didn't walk out after 10 minutes of
no. But I know, and I know so many people are going to be like, oh, that sounds so heartless. But like, I mean, I think it's a reality. Like, people like to say relationships aren't, part of it is based on looks, and that's just how it is. So.
Yeah. Supernova said, it's amazing that two normal people found each other on Tinder. What are the odds? I mean, I don't know if I would describe each other as normal, but like, I think we're not, we're not like weirdo. I mean, not like bad. I feel like we're not, we obviously didn't axe murder either of each, or either one of each other yet.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know what you've done, but.
Well, at least towards each other.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. One time when we were hanging out, we were kind of talking about this before we got on the live. There was a random cat, a little kitten that was like, where was it? Like in a parking lot or something, and then you rescued it.
Yeah, that we found her a home. So I don't know if you ever knew this. It turned out she was pregnant.
What?
Yeah, I got to my truck and this black cat jumped into my truck.
She was tiny.
She was pretty small, and I was just like, oh, what a nice cat. And I set her back out of the truck because it's a stray cat, and she jumped right back in. And I was like, man, this cat really wants to come home with me. So I took her home, and she kept me up all night. She was like walking all over me, like stepping on my face. Like I couldn't sleep a wink that night. And I got up the next day and took her to, I can't remember the name, some sort of pet place. And they looked at her and they were like, yeah, she's pregnant, man. And I was like, and I lived in a place at the time where I couldn't have any pets. So I ended up finding a friend of mine who worked for a vet, and she took her in, and she still has her. She kept her.
That's crazy. What did she do with the kittens?
I think she found them homes.
Wow.
Yeah, she's really really nice, sweet person. Great for doing that. So yeah, she did a great job with it.
I mean, I still admire you for taking in the cat, because not everybody would have done that.
I love animals. I feel bad. You know, it seemed like it really wanted some sort of attention to jump in my truck several times in a row like that. So I think I would have felt bad if I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really sweet of you. So what else? I feel like I kind of lost my train of thought of what I wanted to ask you. What is something that you really want to do right now, but you haven't because you're afraid to?
I don't know. Most of the things that I want to do, it's not really, I wouldn't say I'm not doing them because I'm scared. It's just logistics. You know, I'd love to travel far more than I am, but it's a matter of time, money, things like that. I'd love to live somewhere a little bit different, but again, it's a matter of money, getting a job, good job, balancing your personal life, relationships, friendships, relationships, all that stuff. I don't really feel like there's anything I don't do out of fear that I want to do. That I can think of right now anyway.
Where would you want to live?
I mean, I would love to live. I'm pretty open to exploring any new place. I think it'd be awesome. I would love to go to all around anywhere in the world. You know, Asia, Australia, South America, Europe again. There's very few places I wouldn't want to at least check out. I wouldn't want to live somewhere where there's snow all the time. I couldn't do that. But other than that, yeah. I mean, I'd like to live just about anywhere different just to explore.
Yeah, I get that. I hate the cold, so I would do really bad in a cold environment for a long period of time. What's like your what would be your dream job, or like what would be your, I don't know.
I'd love to be a full-time musician. Right now I'm playing out 3 nights a week, typically on average. I really, when I met you about 2 years ago, I wasn't really taking music seriously. It was around that time that I was like, okay, I'm actually going to practice and like dedicate a lot of time to getting good at what I do. So it's a relative recent thing, a couple years, year and a half or so, where I've actually really been kind of at least taking my shot at getting really good and trying to trying to be as good as I can so that maybe I could do it full time, and we'll see if that ever goes anywhere. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but at least I'm going to try.
Yeah. How has COVID affected your like performances?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously affected it a lot. There was a solid, whatever it was, 4 months where it was just, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't go anywhere. And during that time, I just, spent a lot of time at home practicing, which I try to do anyway. But things are starting to pick back up now, and, people are getting vaccinated, and you're seeing a lot of the restrictions get lifted, and there's people are starting to book live music again, whether it be outside in a socially distanced environment or whatever. But yeah, it's picking back up again.
I feel like just maybe like a silver lining with the pandemic was the fact that you were able to just kind of focus on practicing and stuff.
Yeah, no doubt it was. I try to do that anyway because it's not easy. I really envy people that don't have to have a full-time job that are trying to do music full-time, because it's really not easy to work a full 9 to 5 job, 40 hours a week or whatever it is, and come home and you really just want to like lay down on the couch and like watch TV. And this was what I was talking about like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I made the decision I'm not going to lay down on the couch anymore. And you got to like be motivated and actually like set aside an hour or two to do something productive to make yourself better. And that's not easy. I really envy people that don't have to work, but that can just focus on music.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of those people that don't have to work, it's because they have like their parents helping them.
Some, yeah. So, I mean, everybody's situation's different. And,
Yeah.
I got friends that are on both sides of the spectrum as far as that goes. Some are like, yeah, their parents just have really supported them a lot in their lives financially, and that's one of the reasons for sure. No doubt. I don't know. I couldn't live being dependent on somebody. I know my ego's too big for that. So I couldn't do that personally, but I wish I could.
Yeah. I mean, I get it in a weird way. Like I'm moving soon, but I had to move back with my mom during COVID. That's why I'm even in Greenville, and I'm actually going to stay in this area. Like I've decided, I was thinking I was going to move, but I think I'm actually going to stay in this area. And it's been a huge transition going from like living on your own. Like I lived with, I guess, roommates and stuff, but you're really reliant on your own. You're not like reliant on other people. To living with my mom for a year, and I thought, oh, that's gonna be like it. I'm never doing that again, because that's like when I moved back from Seattle, and that's like when we met. And then I moved to Atlanta for a year, and then during COVID, I moved out of my apartment in February 2020. That was actually like the perfect timing to move out of the apartment, considering what happened in March of 2020.
Yeah, that's when it hit.
Yeah, so I'm like super, because I got furloughed from my job in Georgia. So my full-time job, and I like was working at Starbucks part-time as well. And so I got to transfer to one here. And then like I kind of made it work and got another job. And now I work from home. But I still pay rent like at my mom's house. Like I'm not living here for free. I never have lived here for free, but yeah, so I get it. Like even the idea of like having my mom still being like a presence in my life, it's just I know that I do so much better when I'm by myself and I'm like able to support myself. And like I think it's good for you too that you're kind of doing it the harder way in a way. Like you're still, I mean, we're the same age, literally like a week apart or so. Like we are like this exact same age. But it's, I don't know. It's like hard to sometimes like figure the fact that we're both still really young, even though like I know I feel kind of old sometimes. 27 club.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but yeah, you have like, I mean, if you're anything better than like when I first saw you perform and stuff, I thought you were amazing back then. I can't even imagine what you're like now. So,
Thank you. Well, maybe since things are picking up, we'll have some stuff around Greenville.
yeah, that would be really awesome.
There was, I think you're right. You know, when you got to kind of do things the hard way, you build like you know, it's the age old thing. It makes you stronger. But it's not easy all the time. But it does make you emotionally stronger for sure. You learn what responsibility is too. I feel like a shockingly large amount of people that should be responsible are not.
Yeah. Well, and especially like at our age, because we're still, I mean, we're in our 20s, but we're in our late 20s. So it's like 30s, like around the corner and it's like coming in. Um, and so I know that both of us are kind of in that like point where we're like, okay, shit, we have to get our lives together.
That's a real thing. I feel that. I want my buddies. I got, you know, one of my friends is, I think he's 22 now, but he was 21 at the time, and he was like, "Hey man, come over to my house. I'm having a party." And I came over. I felt so out of place. You wouldn't think you'd feel so out of place with 21, 22-year olds, but I didn't. It felt weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. I do like I think you've seen that I do TikTok.
Yeah.
And like most of my audience on TikTok, which I might like if you're from TikTok and you're watching this, which I don't think actually I would say there's very few people that follow me on from TikTok on my YouTube channel, because if they did, I would have like a very large YouTube channel if that was the case.
Yeah, for sure. TikTok's the
But oh, go ahead.
No, that's it. It's young. You're young and hip. You're doing the hip thing.
No, but it's like I feel so old. I mean, I think they think, which I know this is true because like whenever I've talked about like my age on TikTok, they're like very shocked because a lot of people think that I'm like 17 or 18, which I guess is a good thing. But it's really funny. Um, it is kind of a little bit odd because it's like, no, you I don't really relate with you guys. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like I feel like I get a lot of Gen Z stuff, but I mean, we're definitely millennials. Um, so we're kind of in this weird group. I mean, we're definitely more of millennials than the people that are like born between 96 to whatever or 95 to whatever. But I don't know about you, but do you feel like you kind of still relate to like the younger generation in some ways? Or do
And
you feel more millennial?
like 20, 21-year olds, that kind of generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I have friends that are 20, 21 years old, that I've met through like music or whatever. I obviously, you know, somebody's personality is a personality. You're either going to get along with them or learn to get along with them or not. I think it's not about not being able to get along with younger people. It's just there's certain cultural things that I just don't get, like TikTok and like the music they listen to or like the dances. What I sound really old. You know, the shoes they're wearing, whatever. It's like just small cultural things. But at the end of the day, you know, personalities click no matter how old you are, I think, or they don't.
Yeah, that's true. It is interesting because like um I mean, obviously we've known each other for a couple years now, but what was your first impression of me in person?
I thought you were. I thought you were initially like in the first. I don't remember 30 minutes an hour. I thought you were a little bit more reserved than I thought you'd be, but then I think you opened up after you know realizing I'm not an axe murderer. Opened up a little bit more. And then, yeah, you weren't, it was, and that's typical, somebody's reserved when you first meet them. That was really the only thing. And I guess also just like, you were just nice, like a genuine, that's a better way to put it. You meet a lot of people that aren't genuine. You can tell they're trying to lead one way or another, or they're trying to be a certain thing. It's nice to meet somebody that's just being them. So that would probably be the best thing I would say, is you could tell that you were just being you. You were genuine.
Oh, that's actually like such a good compliment. That's not what I expected you to say. I mean, when I met you also, it was like you weren't trying to pretend to be someone else. And like, I think what's interesting, again, like we met on Tinder, but it was never like anything more. Like, I mean, it was really just a PG situation. We were more friends than anything, but like, you weren't really trying to be like Mr. Cool or like Mr. Suave. Like, I've definitely been on dates with guys that are like, I don't know, just like really intense and like really trying to be something they're not.
Yeah.
And something that like really, I found you very interesting, and also I mean, because I think we met at Velo Fellow. Is that right? Yeah. And that, I mean, that place is really cool. But there was just so many people that knew you that like came up to you or like talked to you because you performed there a lot. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you say the thing about like guys going on dates trying to be like suave and whatnot. Some of my friends that are girls, not girlfriends that are girls, they'll ask me about what I think about certain guys all the time. And it's really interesting to see the different perspectives of like what I notice about guys, and what girls notice about guys. And it's interesting that you notice that, because a lot of girls I feel like don't notice that a guy is like being fake and just trying to be like, the lady killer and whatnot.
Oh, I noticed.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on quite a few dates like in my life, and there's been like just different people. I don't know. Like, yeah, I feel like you can tell. This isn't necessarily that this guy was like acting like Mr. Macho or something, but like one of the weirdest date experiences, and this isn't the weirdest, but it's just like one of the ones. I went to that one sushi restaurant in Greenville.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one that's like,
it's in the West End.
yeah, the West End one. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. I know what you're talking about.
Auto something.
Yeah, is it Kaya?
Yeah, something. So yeah, I think so. And this guy was like, it was also like a weird thing. I mean, he came late, which is fine. I mean, I've definitely come late before to things, but it was like to dinner, and like I really don't prefer going to dinner with people like first meeting them. I think it's actually better to like meet them for coffee or like drinks or something.
Right.
And this guy was like at dinner, and I remember he was like eating the edamame, and he was like licking his fingers and then like putting them back in there, and like this was like shared edamame. And just like the way that he was eating his sushi, it was just like, I don't know, it was just very clear, like in conversation. It was like one of those things where it felt like a very one-sided conversation where he was kind of talking about himself, and that's fine. But it was very strange. The whole date was very strange, and like I've definitely had certain experiences where I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is this? I don't think I've ever walked out on a date though.
Yeah. I have. We talked about that.
Yeah. I mean, but like, I feel like that's justified though.
I thought it was. And also, it wasn't really a date. I like to make that perfectly clear. She was there at the bar with friends, and I was asked to join. So it wasn't like a sit-down date. I probably should have said that earlier. So it was a little bit less dickish.
So it wasn't like it wasn't a date. It was just like,
let's meet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a let's meet type deal and have drinks, but I'm gonna bring my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, which the term date's so loose nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you call a date now, because a lot of people don't. I don't like to do the dinner thing either, because I think it's awkward, because you're trying to, awkwardly eat food and it's getting on your face or whatever, and not a good way to meet somebody.
Well, it's also hard because like there's not really a way out.
That's true. There's not.
I mean, unless you really want to be like kind of dickish about it and like leave during like I mean, especially like can you imagine eating your dinner and then just leaving? Like I'm going to the bathroom and just not coming back. I feel like I would not be able to do that.
Yeah, I'd at least say, hey, I'm leaving.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would want to pay my portion at least.
For sure.
But yeah. Do you have anything that you want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
Ooh. I don't know. Not really.
Okay. Well, we've been talking for over an hour. And I feel like we've talked about like all different kinds of subjects. So people have, well, I guess we could kind of get into like personality stuff, because people want to. What is your personality type? Do you remember?
It's been years since I did it. I believe it was ENFP.
Yeah.
I believe it gave me the percentages, for each one. I remember N and S were like basically 50-50. So I don't know if ENSP or ENFP, but it's probably one of them too.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think you're an ENFP. But yeah, it's interesting, and like I know you don't know too much about like personality theory. That's why I really didn't like talk about it too much on here. But what's something that how would you kind of describe your personality to people that don't know you?
I try to be outgoing as I can, because I think it can be beneficial. So I try to be outgoing, and I try to be very productive. I definitely do need like my alone time. Like there's times when I get home from work. I have a couple roommates, and they'll want to hang out, and I'll be like, look, dude, I gotta chill by myself for a few minutes. Like I definitely need my alone time. But I try to be pretty outgoing and productive, and yeah, I guess that's maybe a good way to put it.
Yeah.
More adjectives.
Okay, so Supernova said Adam is very chill for an ENFP. I guess that's proof they aren't always just jumping off the walls. I feel like in person, Adam, you are a little bit more extroverted.
It depends on the setting.
Yeah.
Because at work, I'm not super extroverted, but I only have a team of like 2 or 3 guys at work, and also I'm not always in the best mood. I'm not a morning person. If you meet me in the morning, you definitely probably won't think I'm an ENFP, because I'm pretty grumpy. Not a morning person. I'm definitely nighttime. My energy probably definitely bumps up at night, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're extremely sociable, even though like I get the whole like I feel like ENFPs are typically the most introverted extroverts in a lot of ways. Like and I think you're also just in general, I think ENFPs are like kind of social chameleons in general. Like you kind of match them where they are kind of thing. Like, so we're having kind of a sit down interview. You're not like, wah, like jumping around. I don't know if you would want to, but would you like to perform anything for us, or would you not be able to right now?
I can show you what a dobro is.
Okay, that would be cool.
Most people probably don't know what it is. It's unless you're like a bluegrass fan. I get so many people coming up to me at shows, being like, "Man, what is that thing you're playing?" And I'm just like, you're trying to explain it to them. So it's just this instrument that you kind of play on your lap. A lot of people kind of hear the bluesy thing, but then like the big bluegrass thing. A lot of people do like Hawaiian music with it, like. So it kind of has its niche in some different types of music, like swing music. People do swing music. I've been trying to get more into that recently. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. I do dobro and some pedal steel, if you like pedal steel. So
that's really cool. Someone said I can't see it.
Oh, really?
What does it look like when it's not on your lap?
It's a guitar. It's just a special type of guitar. It's a resonator guitar with a square neck. So you play it with a bar, which I don't know if you saw that or not. You like slide around with the bar. Like, I'm not using my fingers, you use a bar. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, you play it in your lap. You play it flat. So
that's really cool, though.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think that this has been really cool. I think people have gotten a different perspective on you. Not that they knew you before, but now they do, or at least know you a little bit. Do you have any kind of social media or anything you want to shout out?
I got Instagram, Bachman Music. I don't really get on Facebook that much. I try not to. But yeah, I got Instagram, Bachman Music.
Yeah, I can. I'll link that in the description, which, by the way, like, my description on this video is just like a generated description that I've had for like a couple of years, which I need to like get rid of. Oh my gosh. Alex asked, "What's your number?"
I don't know.
Yeah, say it.
Say
it on a live video.
Yeah. Send me an Instagram message.
Yeah, send him an Instagram message if you're interested.
Yeah. Whenever I get to my next homeless shelter, I'll charge my phone and check it out.
Oh my gosh. I thought your phone was charging right now. Is that a lie?
No, it is. It's charging.
Is this a homeless shelter that you're at?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually at a rest stop right now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I like the lights in the background.
Yeah, they've really bumped up their game.
Yeah, I feel like this is a pretty good rest stop.
South Carolina DOT, they're doing work.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Well, if you guys have any last questions for Adam, leave them in the comment or the chat, and we'll kind of wait until those questions come through. If not, thank you guys for watching. And again, thank you, Adam, for watching. I mean, no, not watching. I guess you are watching, but thank you for being on this live, because again, just to kind of clarify for people, this is a little bit of a test because I used to do my interviews solely live, and I'm going to do a mixture of both live and like recorded interviews. And the reason why I like even have Adam on a live is because I do know him in real life, whereas there's going to be people that I interview that I do not know in real life, so it's a little bit more awkward. But yeah, I don't see any other questions, so I think we will let them go. But thank you guys for watching. Adam, do you have anything to say?
No, just thanks for having me. It was fun.
All right. Well, bye, guys.